Crypto exchange FTX crashed this week, tanking major tokens in its wake. Here's what it means for U.S. investors. FTX, a major cryptocurrency exchange, and FTX US, its U.S. branch, filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. FTX announced on November 11. The companies also faced an apparent hack that drained more than $600 million from user wallets later the same day. FTX advisors overseeing the bankruptcy proceedings are having trouble locating most of the company's reported assets, Bloomberg reported, indicating that FTX might have limited funds to repay its debtors. Founder and CEO Sam Bankman-Fried, also known as SBF, has resigned, according to the November 11 press release. The new CEO is John J. Ray Ioannoni, who led the infamous energy giant Enron through its bankruptcy and liquidation process about 2 decades earlier. Never in my career have I seen such a complete failure of corporate controls and such a complete absence of trustworthy financial information as occurred here, said Ray in a November 17 bankruptcy filing. From compromised systems integrity and faulty regulatory oversight abroad, to the concentration of control in the hands of a very small group of inexperienced, unsophisticated, and potentially compromised individuals, this situation is unprecedented. The impact of FTX crash is having wide-reaching implications throughout the crypto market as cryptocurrencies and exchanges with exposure to FTT or FTX face sinking prices and financial troubles. What happened to FTX? FTX and FTX US crashed due to a lack of liquidity and mismanagement of funds, followed by a large volume of withdrawals from rattled investors. The value of FTX's native token, FTT, plummeted last week, taking other coins down with it, including Ethereum and Bitcoin, which reached a 2-year low as of November 9. These are the key points. Initial reports and sell-offs. November 2 to 8. FTX is a cryptocurrency exchange founded by Sam Bankman-Fried in 2019, who served as CEO until November 11. The exchange issues its own token, FTT, and was the 4th largest crypto exchange by volume as of November 9. Bankman-Fried also founded a crypto trading firm called Alameda Research. CoinDesk reported on Alameda's troubled balance sheet on November 2. Its largest assets, according to the report, are billions of dollars worth of FTT. The CEO of rival exchange Binance, Changpeng Zhao, also known as CZ, tweeted on November 6 that he was planning to sell off Binance's stockpile of FTT because of recent revelations that have came to light, referring to the November 2 CoinDesk report of FTX and Alameda's blurred funds. He compared FTX's situation to the crash of Terra USD and Luna this year that tanked the crypto market and cost investors billions of dollars. But typically, such moves aren't announced publicly. Zhao's announcement led to a rapid decline in FTT's value over the next day, as suspicion grew that FTX didn't have the liquidity needed to back transactions and stay afloat. The value of other coins, including BTC and ETA, declined as well, with Bitcoin dropping to a 2-year low. Bankman-Fried said in a tweet on November 10 that the platform saw $5 billion in withdrawals on November 6. Withdrawals freeze, a deal falls through. November 8 to 11. Zhao and Bankman-Fried struck a deal for Binance to acquire the non-US branch of FTX. The exchange CEO signed a non-binding letter of intent on November 8, essentially promising to bail out the failing exchange to prevent a larger market crash. On November 8, FTX halted all non-fiat customer withdrawals. On Twitter, Bankman-Fried posted a string of apologies explaining FTX's liquidity issues and promising more transparency. Binance withdrew from the deal. On November 9, Zhao posted on Twitter that Binance had completed its corporate due diligence and said it would not be acquiring FTX. Zhao tweeted that the news reports of mishandled customer funds and alleged U.S. agency investigations contributed to his decision. Bankman-Fried appeared to reference Zhao's influence on FTX's fall in a cryptic post on Twitter where he said, "Well played, you won." Bankruptcy and hacks. November 11. On November 11, FTX announced that it had filed for voluntary Chapter 11 bankruptcy proceedings for FTX, FTX US, and Alameda. Chapter 11 bankruptcy allows businesses to restructure their debt and continue operations, unlike Chapter 7 bankruptcy, where assets are liquidated. FTX US also temporarily froze withdrawals on November 11. Following the bankruptcy announcement, despite earlier reassurances that FTX US was not affected by FTX's liquidity troubles, withdrawals were later reopened. FTX and FTX US wallets were emptied on the evening of November 11 in an apparent hack. More than $600 million was drained from the wallets, CoinDesk reported. FTX posted about the hack on its support channel, the instant messaging service Telegram, saying, FTX has been hacked. FTX apps are malware. Delete them. Chat is open. Don't go on FTX site as it might download Trojans. Trojans are malware disguised as legitimate software. A Twitter user reported that hackers were also attempting to access bank accounts linked to FTX US. Plaid, a service that connects customer bank accounts with financial applications, responded to concerning public reports by shutting off FTX's access to their products, noting they didn't see an indication their tools had been used fraudulently. FTX General Counsel Ryan Miller posted on Twitter the same evening that the company would expedite moving remaining assets to cold storage, meaning offline, because of the unauthorized transactions, referring to the apparent hack. The aftermath. November 12, to present FTX's balance sheet, dated November 10, was published by the Financial Times on November 14, showing $9 billion in liabilities and just $900 million in assets that could be easily sold. It had a mess of entries, including a hidden, poorly internally labeled fiat at account with a balance of negative $8 billion. FTX is currently under criminal investigation in the Bahamas, where the exchange is based. CoinDesk reports that Bankman-Fried lived there with 9 colleagues and on and off romantic partners who helped him run his businesses. According to former FTX employees interviewed by CoinDesk, only this inner circle knew about the entangled finances of the companies. Ray, the new CEO, painted a dire picture of FTX's financials in a November 17 court filing with the U.S. Bankruptcy Court for the District of Delaware. He states that FTX did not keep appropriate books or records or security controls with respect to its digital assets. An emergency motion added to the FTX bankruptcy filing on November 17 reported that there is credible evidence that Bahamian regulators directed Bankman-Fried to gain unauthorized access to FTX funds and transfer them to the Bahamian government. It's unclear whether or when these transfers happened, as they would have occurred during the same time period as the hack. A press release from the Securities Commission of the Bahamas appears to support these reports. What does this mean for U.S. customers? FTX's Chapter 11 bankruptcy filing includes FTX US, according to the press release. The companies aim to maximize recoveries for stakeholders, said Ray, the new CEO, in the statement. But as of publication time, guidance for affected investors wasn't available. FTX owes customers billions. In a court filing on November 19, FTX listed its top creditors, the investors to whom the fallen exchange owes money. The exchange owes its top 50 creditors almost $3.1 billion combined, with almost over half of that amount, $1.45 billion, owed to just the top 10. The company could have over 1 million individual creditors and has been in contact with dozens of international financial regulators this weekend, according to CNN reports. A substantial portion of assets held with FTX may be missing or stolen, Ray noted in the filing. As far as investors are concerned, he warned that it would not be appropriate for stakeholders or the court to rely on the audited financial statements as a reliable indication of the financial circumstances of FTX. FTX is reviewing its available assets and is preparing to sell or restructure to repay investors. Balance sheets included in the bankruptcy filing show that FTX assets are worth far less than Bankman-Fried had initially claimed. Users are likely to have a hard time getting their money back in the near future. Bankruptcy proceedings are set to begin on Tuesday, November 22, and many investors who had assets stored on FTX still aren't able to withdraw their funds from the platform. What does this mean for the U.S. crypto market? FTX's troubles have had a profound effect on the U.S. crypto market. Bitcoin's price dipped below $16,000 on November 9, and again on November 14. $3.2 billion in Bitcoin has been taken off exchanges in the last 7 days. Ethereum's price dipped below $1,100 on November 9. Solana dipped below $13 on November 9, following CoinDesk's report that Alameda held a large amount of it. Applications on the Solana network have lost over $700 million in combined assets in the past week, and Solana dipped below $13 again on November 13. Tether briefly depegged from the US dollar by 3% on November 10. Cryptocurrency is a relatively risky investment and should be treated accordingly. High-risk investments should make up a small part of your overall portfolio, and diversifying the range of cryptocurrencies you buy can help minimize risk. Which exchanges are exposed to the FTX crisis? With such high volatility and so many customers unable to withdraw their funds from FTX, investors are concerned about the fate of their assets on other exchanges. Here's how major exchanges are affected. FTX and FTX US have frozen withdrawals and filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. FTX is under scrutiny from the Securities and Exchange Commission, or SEC, and Commodity Futures Trading Commission for its handling of client funds, Reuters reported. The investigation began several months ago. FTX hasn't responded to NerdWallet's request for comment. After Friday's hack, many users reported $0 wallet balances, and FTX's login portal is currently unavailable. BlockFi has frozen withdrawals and is reportedly preparing to file for bankruptcy due to its exposure to FTX. The company said in a post on Twitter it learned of the FTX news through Twitter and, due to the lack of clarity, would not be able to operate business as usual. Previously, FTX was set to acquire BlockFi, and FTX US had extended BlockFi a $400 million line of credit. Gemini co-founder Cameron Winklevoss tweeted that the platform had no material exposure to FTX, FTT, or Alameda on November 9. However, on November 16, Gemini told customers they might be unable to withdraw funds from Gemini Earn, a program that pays upward of 8% rewards on assets customers lend out. The problem is with Gemini's third-party lending partner, Genesis Global Capital, which froze withdrawals this week amid liquidity concerns. Crypto.com CEO Chris Marszalek tweeted that the company's direct exposure to the FTX meltdown is immaterial, amounting to less than $10 million in the company's own capital. The platform did suspend withdrawals of stablecoins USD and USDT on the Solana network, but did not explain why. Binance, UDAS, the U.S. branch of Binance, which is separately managed, posted on Twitter that Binance's dealings with FTX would not affect U.S. users. Binance CEO Zhao posted yesterday that the exchange would be forming an industry recovery fund to help otherwise strong projects in a liquidity crisis. Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong tweeted that the platform has no material exposure to FTX, FTT, or Alameda. Robinhood told NerdWallet that the service has no direct exposure to Alameda, FTX, or any of its entities. FTT can't be traded on the platform. FTX's Bankman-Fried has a 7.6% stake in Robinhood. I'm worried about keeping my crypto with an exchange. What should I do? Consider moving your digital assets to a separate crypto wallet. Most exchanges allow you to transfer assets to these wallets, which can be online, on a separate platform, or offline, on a thumb drive with added security features. Holding your crypto this way doesn't protect against falling prices, of course, but it can help you sidestep lockups or an exchange closing its withdrawal window. How will this affect crypto regulation? U.S. exchanges are subject to more regulation and reserve requirements than international exchanges, but recent events might cause more regulatory scrutiny. In a Twitter post Wednesday, Senator Elizabeth Warren, DMAS, called for more aggressive enforcement and said she was pushing the SEC to protect consumers. Make sure you stay watching our next related video to discover more amazing videos. If you have any comments, please leave them in the comments box below. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.